Okay guys, welcome to a pitching tutorial from my good self, Irish King 1916. Okay, so obviously I'm using high-end gloves and high-end balls, so I'm going to start with what I would do with these high-end gloves, which I know is not applicable to a lot of you guys with the lower gloves, but we'll work back to how to kind of pitch with the lower ends. I'll work from the memory from when I was using them, but straight away here, I do not use the chip shot at all to start with. It always kind of falls on the chip shot, so I absolutely never use it. So unfortunately this tutorial will have no help with the chip shot, but I would fully recommend that you follow my lead and work with the pitch. Now, pitch 15 yards and we've 17, so the wind is affected by these pitches. So you've got to the factors you've got to take in is much spin you're going to put on the ball, how much wind, and obviously how much slope that you have. Them three factors you have to consider, and when you kind of get used to these and dial them in, you can get pretty close to the hole and hold them. So here I've picked a kind of pretty flat green, the first green in Kiwa. And first of all, to see your slope, obviously you can see that this is as I play it left to right. But if you want to, you have to consider, are you going playing onto a down slope or an up slope? And you do that by selecting put, and then you can switch the orientation of the slope. So you can see that there's a little bit of down slope here, and that's probably where the first bounce will be. So you kind of have to factor in that that's going to kick the ball on a little bit, and then it's pretty flat there. So straight back pitch. Now you need to change your orientation back before you select the pitch. Right, so now we're in pitch here, and you basically, this is the main thing, obviously, to stay in line. You keep this orientation. You have in your head that it's slightly downhill on the first bounce probably, and there. Now the wind, not a very strong wind here, won't really affect it, but will have a little bit effect. Now my kind of rule on pitching is, obviously this is easier with the high-end gloves and the high-end ball because they have spin built into the golf ball itself. But my golden kind of rule is the minimum amount of spin that you can put on the pitch without losing control of the ball. You don't want the ball flying away from you. Like, I'll play this wrong. I'll play without spin, and you can see how it can kind of go away from you. Let's have just one go at it here. So I'm not playing with any spin, kind of aiming 70 in. And I'm going to hit it there. And it lands on that down slope. And look at that, a little loose. Then all of a sudden you're left with a 7-4, and there was a little left to right kick there where it landed. So you kind of want to put a bit of spin because you want a little control. But with the high end stuff, like I'm starting with, like I said, I'd start with, you put just a little bit of spin. This is the spinniest ball in the game, the 101. Obviously, the lesser ball you have, more spin. We'll get to that. We'll start with this ball here. So I'm putting about that much spin on it because I'm playing into the breeze. I don't want to play full spin, and I'll tell you in a sec. But we'll play this. This is how I would normally play it. We aim there, a little wind. It's going to kick to the right to left as you play it. So this is how I would normally play it. A little more power because you put spin on it. And there, let's see how this goes. And the spin takes effect, and they're much closer to the hole. Okay, let's go back. Now the reason that I don't put full spin on the shot is because you want to hold it. It's very hard to hold them with full spin because all it takes is one bounce and stop, as you'll see now. Right, we play it there, and it's going to take one bounce and stop dead quick, and these very, very rarely go in. See, the problem is the camera angle doesn't show you, but you can see that the ball stops straight away. Now, working back to lesser clubs, when you're on the lower clubs, I would do full spin because the ball will then roll out, and as you progress up the better golf clubs, you'll generally get a feel for how you know, I don't need to play full spin here. You want the ball kind of rolling out a little bit. Let's go back and play it the way I would normally play. You want that little bit of rollout, because then you have a chance of holding them. Like, I hold a lot of these, I think I hold more shots than pretty much anyone in the game, per ranked rounds. So that little bit of spin there. Let's see if we can get this up about 15. Get a feel for it. Kick in, runs out, and drops in the hole. I like them shots, so we can't go back actually. Let's restart the round and hit it back up there. So that's the way. Now the reason I like playing the pitch instead of the chip, because you have much more control. The ball carries over. I'm just gonna hit it back up to the edge of the green here. The ball carries over ground, where the chip comes in pretty flat, kind of flat trajectory, little less control. The main thing that you have to start off with this is just let me pitch this to about here. Little pitch. I'll be doing rough now in a second, so I'll pitch it out rough. Alright, so that's 13-yard shot there. The main thing is control on the ball, because you do not. The main thing is you want to tap in. That is the main thing. So, like I was saying, with the lesser clubs, learn full backspin, and we'll play a full backspinner again here. Hopefully the camera angle. One bounce, and stop. See a little bit of roll on the end of it. That's quite unusual with that golf ball. So when you have, the way I used to, when I started and I had a lesser golf ball, I was full spin all the time. But in time, as you move and start using a better ball, better golf clubs, you will start to realize I don't need to put that amount of spin on it. And you want that kind of, you want it kind of rolling out 2 feet length, and then when it's rolling, much more chance of holding the ball. But let's go back there, and I'll just see, take the mulligan. Like, say the chip. Now I'm like rank amateur at this, so this is all new to me. It comes in a bit flat, and you're gonna see it kind of kick here and go to the right. I'm going to, I honestly don't know what I'm doing here. Let's have a look. And it's not carrying the distance. See, it's kicking the rough there. Now I got away with that one. But see, it's landing to the ground very quickly. That nearly caught the rough. Too many question marks. I think when the ball is in the air, this is basically my opinion. I just think pitching, you've just a better chance of holding from there. Like, just much better chance. So going back to how I normally play this with the golf ball that I have, I see that I have a bit of slope from right to left. We want to see how much down slope we have. So a little bit of down slope at the start, so that will affect it. It'll kick down and in. So let's play it again. Sorry, change the orientation of the slope. Factor in the wind just a little bit. It will affect it a little bit. Obviously, a stronger wind, the heavy winds, will factor a lot. So it's kind of an amalgamation of spin, power you're gonna hit it, and the wind. Now, what I said at the start was, why do I put the minimum amount of spin on it that's possible? The reason is, it's much more accurate. If you play with no spin, you can miss a ding and it'll still stay in line. The more spin you put on it, the much more ding dependent it becomes. And also, the more spin you put on it, the more the wind affects it. So let's try a full spin. It's a shame that doesn't keep this angle. I really would wish it would just stay this angle. There, see, that's flying off to the right, never on target, and then spinning away from the hole. Never gonna go in with the missed ding. So let's no, try pull. Jesus, I wish he's give me gimmies like that all the time. So let's try play it without spin. Going back to the lack of control you have. I'm just trying to demonstrate here how much it'll stay on line. I'll try miss ding, But see, it still stays online. Pretty much online. Not probably the best example of chip because it is a little bit downhill, but gradually, basically, when you're on the lower end clubs, play full spin, and as you progress in the game, you get the better clubs, the better balls. Try loosen up the spin. Just start a little bit, like not putting full spin, put like 90%, 80%, and you'll gradually learn. And it's really, you can start really holding an awful lot of shots with it. Now we'll have a little go at the rough. Let's see if we can. Let's see where this goes. Try put it into rough here. No, probably sent that too far. Now, so we have a 22 yard. We'll try this 22 yard for the moment. You're coming out at 30-40. I would generally, if you have any sort of difficulty, which I would go flop. Like flop would guarantee. Problem is from 20 yards. From 20 yards, it's a bit tricky. Right, tell you what, we'll play a pitch. And pitch, when I'm pitching out of 30-40, say it was an easy, full spin. Full spin. Let's see where this goes. It's not a great example. It's hard to pick an example. See, that flies up in the air. Now, this will automatically run out. Do you see? It'll automatically. Now, that was a very awkward chip. Very awkward chip. And I haven't even got a perfect flop for that. It's best to explain by examples. To be honest, like in competitive play, this is a bit out of line. I'd actually probably play a full shot for this because I want to carry and stop it. Let's see where this goes. A bit long, but see, it'll stop pretty quick. Anyway, that's pretty much out of subject with this tutorial. Alright, let's see if we can just get a little closer. And probably over the other side. Let's see if we can try chip it over there. Alright. And that's better because we're gonna have less down. Right, so 30-40 here. Perfect. 30-40, and now we're using our 70 in pitch. So again, see the break, early break there. Your pitch should carry all that break, so you don't really have to take that into account. So let's see how much downhill. Kind of a little bit downhill, So it's a 30-40 lie. Now out of 30-40. Yeah, full spin, and even when you get to 25-30, say this is 25-30 here, I do full spin as well out of 25-30. Maybe not into this breeze, but it will release, even with the high end golf ball. For guys with the lower end clubs, you might really struggle to get any sort of control using the pitch shot here. You're probably better off playing a flop shot and let it run out. We play the pitch here, and then I'll have a go with the flop as well. Alright, let me have a look. So there. Now, you do have to hit it harder. This is with the high-end clubs, pitching it 14 yards. You do have to kind of hit it harder, but you have to kind of factor in that the ball will roll out. So if it was 40, it's a kind of counterintuitive, but if it was 40-50, I'd probably hit it less because there'll be less spin on it and it's going to run out the distance. But we'll try this here. See, it did grab there, to see. Still didn't hit it enough. Let's have another go at that. I was surprised how much that spun. Right, so, well, it's much easier the second time when you know. So, like, I'm nearly up to full power. We're going to throw it the whole way. The wind, again, into the wind will really factor it. When you're playing into the breeze, it will accentuate the spin. So, no, thank you. I will try to put. Now, let's go flop it. Yeah, so say you're in the lesser clubs. The pitch, probably, like if you have a lower level ball, lower level clubs, the pitch will, you'll pretty much learn that you can't get any control even with the spin. So flop, I always aim kind of, I don't usually use the grid, I just have a kind of feel for it, but looking at it there, it's kind of like a full grid, little over grid, and full backspin. Now I find with the flop that this is nearly full power, but that's probably with the better ball. Yeah, it would be with the better ball. So you need to fly this whole way with the better ball. That's still short. But with a lesser ball, let me go back there. I'm going to play this without spin, but think as if the guy's using the lower level balls as if it was full spin. Now this should run out like a lower ball. Let's have a look. It's unfortunate that I can't change balls mid-game. See the way that runs out? That's it. So, if you haven't got great golf clubs yet, I would recommend flopping out of all rough lies around the green. But I would definitely, even with the lower end, start practicing your pitch. Because it is much more chance of holding the shot than you will with a flop. Like when I'm good when I have to actually pick a flop shot when the pitch is real difficult, where it's real, like where I might lose control. Like I was saying, it's always control. Whatever you want to try hold it, but you never sacrifice control. You want the ball to be finishing with a putt of this length. You never take the risk. So I do crack up when I have to take a flop shot because I know the chances of me holding it have gone pretty much. It's just luck. Where when I'm pitching it 15 inside my 17, I want to hold it, and I would probably hold about 3 or 4 days a day. Probably maybe not from the rough. The rough is harder because, like I say, when you put full spin on it, you're losing your accuracy. What did we say? I'm just trying to play the shots because it's probably show it better than I'm explaining, because there's so much variance in the pitch shots and everything you're playing. Let's see if we can get a little pitch shot over here. We'll put it off the green. I'm just trying to show as many examples because each pitch shot is really different, and it's kind of hard to explain in a tutorial of 20 seconds long, but it's the factors of wind, spin, and obviously the power you hit it. And so here we go. Right, now back to basics, like we said at the start of the tutorial. You can see the break is kind of going, well, as we look at it now, it's right to left, and it's a little left to right. How much of that early break am I gonna carry? I'm gonna carry a lot of it. It'll probably, first bounce probably be there, so it's more left to right pitch, because you're from there to the hole, from where I have the aim box to the hole, is probably more gonna affect shot. So I usually put me little spin on the higher end ball, obviously little spin to keep that little control. I obviously bring it to attention at the end. I'm pretty much probably gonna aim this straight at the hole. Aim pretty much, because you're not putting much spin on it, you can pretty much aim what would be the yardage. That's about 14 out of 17 there. Ding really helps, and that was close enough. And see that little roll, right? I know a lot of guys like it's 5 foot. See, 5 foot is a very daunting putt, but with these better balls, you're kind of like happy. I'm happy with any putt inside 6 feet once it doesn't have massive break on it. Let's go back here. So going back to the guys with the lower golf balls, basically start pitching full spin. Start it as soon as you can, as you feel you can get control. Play it up. Let's see how much I'm knowing that. See, it'll stop and then less chance going in. But I'll try put. Let me go. So basically, in summary, sorry guys, just want to get back. If you're starting the game, you have the really low clubs. You probably have to flop everywhere. But as you progress up the game, get it into pitching as quick as you can from the fairway lies, and it's really help you in holding these shots, getting them close. You get a feel for them as you progress with much more spinnier ball, much more spinnier clubs. You'll learn it, and the fact you've gotten to it early, you'll learn it quicker. And by the time you get up to the top end clubs, you'll be pretty sharp at it. It's certainly the way I see the shot. I know a lot of other guys flop everywhere. A lot of guys use the chip. It's really how you see the shot. Like I said, I can't give you a tutorial on the chip. I never use it. The only time I would ever use the chip is like if I had a 3-yard chip, and then that's because pitching's just the meters it's too hard to get a 3-yard shot. So that would be a very rare occasion where I use chips. So unfortunately I can't give you as much information on that, but I'm sure some of the other guys will do a tutorial on that. But that's basically all I have for you is on the pitching. That's how I play them. I love it. It's one of my favourite parts of the game. I expect all of them, and I think with a bit of practice, and when you gauge that spin, slope, power, and you get the 3 of them right, if I know it sounds obvious, but invariably they go in the hole, and they're a real, momentum boost. But I hope you find some use in this one. It's a quirky kind of tutorial. It's a bit subjective. There's not exact things I can show you, and like I said, each pitch is kind of different, but maybe you can take a thing or two from it, and hopefully you shave the odd shot off your round. Anyway, guys, thanks very much for walking, and thanks very much for watching, and I will talk to you soon.